Shalom Aleichem. Shkoyach, thank you. Thank you. We are moving closer and closer to the great days of Purim. By great days, I mean Tanya Ester and Purim of the Krachim, Purim the Mukafim, Purim of Yerushalayim, Irakoidish, Lifnai v'Lifnim. We're holding by days. Or HaPurim lahakir bebir she'ein oid milvadoi. The ikar of Purim, Adam, is to know there's nothing but God. There's nothing but God. The greatest truth is that God is the reality. And like we were mentioning on Shabbos, to the degree that I attach myself to God, the more that I'm in reality. Whereas God forbid, to the degree that a person leaves Hashem, it's not like, I'm going to get punished. It's just the consequence of leaving God is a departure from reality. Leaving the fabric of reality, because Hashem is truth. And we said truth goes on forever, whereas falsehood will be gone from the world. As we explained. What's that?
But if diamonds are forever.
Diamonds are forever. Diamonds are a good thing. It's good to make sure you get your wife diamonds. Even if she tells you she doesn't want them, she wants them. And diamonds are a nice thing. In general, it's a nice thing to give your wife presents. Not only when even the random ones is a very nice thing to give.
Hashem loves it.
Giving presents is a very special thing. When you give a present, is a very deep sign of, I want to be connected to you. And the more that the person enjoys the present, the better you feel about the giving of the present. So, what's the ultimate present that we received? Is life. To be alive, and of course Torah. That's how we stay alive, and that's Kihem Chayenu.
But what do you mean by a life?
So to be close to God. So
because you could say to be alive in this world, but you could say, but you could also say the biggest blessing is to have a neshama, which
So that's what I mean. I don't mean life like a beating pulse. I mean life being alive.
Okay.
So the one who gives you the present, though, what's the worst way to accept the present? Somebody gives a present and they're like, no, thank you. No, shit, just take it back. Or you re-gift it and then they're like, isn't that,
But what if you're not going to use it and you know that someone else would,
In a situation that maybe there would be some way to do it, that's one thing. But let's say the present was for you. For you. Your wife gives you something very special for you. I don't mean somebody gave you an extra, wrench. And you had an extra wrench and somebody needed one. So you just gave them that wrench. But I meant she gave you a very personal gift. So what would be the worst way to accept that gift? You know what? This is so nice. Actually, I don't really want it.
It's not what I wanted, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's not really what I wanted, but I guess that you got it for me, so I'll take it. You monster. The best way to bring closeness is that when the person gives you the gift, that you maximize the use of it. You show how much it means to you.
What if it doesn't mean anything to you?
Pretend.
So then it's a sign that maybe something the relationship is not quite there. But when your wife gives you a gift, it's going to mean something. You write your wife a nice letter. She will keep that letter forever. It means something to her. It means something. She'll read it over and over. It means something. It's deep. So what's the best way to show our love to Hashem and our appreciation of the gift of life? Is to make the most of our life. Oh, now you get it. This present of ours, to maximize the usage of it in the right way. To maximize the usage of it in the right way.
We can't re-gift ourselves.
It's this great gift of a life that you gave me, Hashem. I'm just gonna throw it into Vegas and just bury it over there. For so many reasons, it's just missing the whole point. This world is about that relationship. The gift of understanding that it's all from Hashem. So says the Rebbe, Hine mavur b'sfar makadoshim. It's brought in the Sfar makadoshim, which means the holy books, the Arizal, etc. Shebechag Purim, that on the holiday of Purim, Hashem Yisborach megaleas atzmai b'toicha olam. Hashem reveals Himself in this world. Why is Purim different than Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, you leave this world. On Yom Kippur, you wear white. You're like an angel. You don't eat. You don't drink. You don't involve in any bodily activities. There's no marital relations. You are out of this world completely. By the time the Elah hits, you are gone. You don't even know, where am I? There's a world? What's a bagel? That's exactly what I said. Rabbi Ari and I have been zocheh to be with Itchi Meyer on Yom Kippur. When he does the Hishtach Havayas, the bowing down in the service of Yom Kippur, which is what the Kohen Gadol did, and he's reading the names, when the Siddur goes like this, and he's reading the names, and that is what the Kohen Gadol was thinking about when he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim on Yom Kippur. You see before your eyes that we are in the Kodesh HaKadoshim and the Rebbe is the Kohen Gadol, and you are not in this universe. The Kodesh HaKadoshim is not from this world. It's Einem and Amida. It's beyond. You're not in this world anymore. Yom Kippur that's why it's called Yom HaKadosh, the holy day. Kadosh means something beyond. Purim is the real day, where we say that Hashem, obviously, when we leave this world, all we see is you, but can we also see you down here in this world? That's a greater revelation of Hashem's oneness. That while you're having your Purim Suda, and while you're giving out your gifts to all your friends, and you're giving all your money away to the poor, and you're listening to the Megillah, which doesn't even mention God's name in it. It's just talking about kings and making parties and people drinking wine, and then Achashverosh telling his wife to come in a very inappropriate costume, and etc., etc. And then the whole intrigue of the story, and then the Jews were saved. So that Hashem was with us here, that's Purim. The Behiris Muchletis, that you know that God is here with absolute clarity, B'li Shum Histaris. There's no hiding God anymore. Obviously on Yom Kippur there's no hiding God. You're with Itchi Meyer in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. You leave this world, you're like an angel. Obviously God is in the spiritual worlds. But what about in this world? This is the only physical world, my friends. As far as the NASA Hubble telescope sees, is all the physical world. The spiritual worlds are way beyond this world. Uncountable, unfathomable. This world is a physical world now. It's a physical world. In this physical world, that God permeates everything, that is an unbelievable revelation of God's oneness. That's what we're going for in Purim. B'yom HaKadosh hazeh meir begilu babira or ha'emes. On Purim, if we get Purim correctly, everything becomes real of what the truth of life really is. Shehashem hu Aleichem ein oid milvadoi. There's nothing but you, Hashem. There's nothing but you. What looks like Elohim is the name of multiplicity, of the way that God runs the world here with judgment. And He has systems, and He makes the sun go up, and He makes the gravity work, and He makes the waves of the ocean and the tides move, and He creates a scientific method, and He makes that vitamin C helps your immune system, etc. He makes processes work in this world. That's all that God is behind it, moving it. And you realize that same God is the one God who's beyond all the worlds also. It's all one. Hashem hu Elohim. Ein oid milvadoi. Next page. Va'or hazeh meir gam b'toich ha'olam ha'gashmi ve'achoshech. This light comes inside this world, inside this dark world. That we know that there's nothing but you, Hashem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam she'hakoil niyeh b'dvaroi. Kavel Hashem. And we're able to see inside this world an unbelievable unity. It's all you, Hashem. There's nothing complicated. This whole world is filled with God. You start realizing that a relationship with God and that intimate connection is not like a far out idea, man. It's like a far out, mufshat. It's like far out. It's like a stretch. It becomes a kirayon. It's like, oh, that's like a nice idea that God is, this concept called God. Maybe I'll go take a university class about it. The idea that it's an idea and it's this kind of like thing becomes so absurd because you experience both through a logical sequence and a logical system that God is real and there's nothing but, and you experience it. And on Purim, the experience is very strong. Elohihi ha-metzias. You realize that God is Metzias. You start living with that reality. Like we were learning earlier today in Derech Hashem, that the Torah is the ultimate entry point. Because the Torah is God's consciousness. So when you learn the Torah, you're connecting into God's consciousness, which is the closest thing to God Himself. He put Himself. It's like you're in God's mind in the most intimate way possible. And the deeper and deeper you understand it. That's why the best way to get ready for Purim is to learn the Torah about Purim. Ki b'neis Purim iskala, the miracle of Purim revealed to us. Hashem Yisbarach sholet b'hakol. Hashem runs everything, not just the up there in the high worlds. God is running things, pulling the strings. He's down here. Ki harehu sivev b'toich darkecha teva. He's moving this world also. Es neitz ha'asol v'anifla. This unbelievable miracle that we experienced. Ubezehu hares goydel yichudai v'shlitasai. V'shehakol hu oisa levadai ve'ein oid. There's nothing but you, Hashem. Ein oid melvadai. Ein oid. Nothing but you. Right? Look at the note, Kuf Ein Ches, down here. Ki be'emes Hashem Yisbarach hu ha'koyach ha'yechid b'briya. Hashem, you're the only power in this world. We give other people powers, politicians, social media influencers, all sorts of people, a lot of power. There's only one being with all the power. It's Hashem. Hashem can be mechalek, can give of the power to somebody, but that power is only coming as an extension from God. It's not their own, in Yiddish we say, eigene power. It's not their own independent, separate power. It's a power that God is giving to them from Hashem. It's an extension from Hashem. So it's absurd to worship any person in this world because they're very powerful. Because all their power is just coming as an extension from Hashem. Hashem runs everything. It would be like seeing this really impressive puppet. Like, wow, unbelievable. On the guy's hand. And he starts worshiping the puppet. This puppet is awesome. And there's a person underneath it that's doing it. Hashem is the one that's giving all the power. V'hu mechayes kol habriya, u'mahava oisa b'kol rega. Not only is Hashem giving it power, if at any moment that Hashem decided to remove power from a certain part of the creation, everything would just cease to be. Every second is constant creation, which means that every single second that we're alive and conscious, Hashem is interested in us and giving us creation, which shows how much Hashem loves us and is interested in us. What's one of the... Well, I remember asking Rabbi Dovber before I got married. I said, Rabbi Dovber is somebody I look up to very much. So I said, what's a great piece of marriage advice? So he said that you want to, as much as you can, just be thinking about your wife. And that she feels that that she's always on your mind.
She feels that? Like she feels the energy?
Yeah.
It's better to think of your wife than Hashem.
Well, obviously Hashem as well. You have to think of Hashem all the time as well.
You can't think of both all the time.
You can. You have 6 constants, of course. First of all, your wife is the Shekhinah, the divine presence. She's God, so to speak, as manifest as possible in this world. That's why many of the tzaddikim, when their wives would walk in, they would stand up. The Shekhinah is here. The Shekhinah is here. The divine presence is here. Total manifestation. Remember, think about how powerful it is. Sometimes people say, we make a bracha, Shalom Asani Isha. So one time my wife said to me, she said, we make a bracha, She'asali kirat sayna. You made me exactly perfect. So she said, do you think that there's even a havamina that what we have as women is somehow second best? There's zero feeling that we have anything second best. In fact, we can create children. Do you know how godly that is? I said, you are so right. I said, you're right. You're right. She's like, that a woman should think that they're second class in any way. We know we're the ones. We're as close to God as possible. We create life. When she said that, I said, that's so beautiful. It's so deep. Is there anything more godly? That is maybe the most fundamental thing we know about God is He makes life. He's the creator of life. So a woman is this being as close to God as possible. She bears, she holds, bears, nourishes, gives continual life even after the child is born, nurses. For some people that takes, 18 years, 20 years, 30, 40, 50, For some, the mother's still just, providing life. What the woman does is so close to Hashem. It's an amazing thing, amazing respect, amazing awe for the beauty and the greatness of the woman. Very important to remember that. Next paragraph. The kivin sharak Hashem yisparach hu hametzias. Once we know that Hashem, you are the true reality, as rak hu yesh lo yatzmias. If you're the true reality, then it's only you, Hashem, that have real existence. V'kol habriya eina klum la'atzma. Creation hasn't nothing of its own, only what the Creator is giving to it. Elakol mitziyusa tuluya be'or Hashem yisparach. Sheshoifea ba. Ve'ein l'shum nivra koyach u'mitzias atzmis. Us as a creation, we don't have any independent existence. Hashem doesn't need creation, but creation needs Hashem. Hashem doesn't need creation. Hashem exists without creation, but creation doesn't exist without Hashem. It's very important fundamentals in philosophy.
I feel like if you swap out the word Hashem for the Creator, so it's like the Creator doesn't need creation, creation needs the Creator, but the Creator doesn't need creation. But without creation, it's not the Creator, right?
So very beautiful. I like what you said. It's like saying that, like a father, he could be there without his son, but the son can't be there with the father, but you wouldn't be a father without the son.
Right.
Very good. So you're correct. But now we have to understand that God is more than a creator. When we refer to God as the Boire, yes, He's only a creator in so much that there's a creation. That's right. That's why the creation gave God, if you will, a certain status as a creator. He was always a creator in potential. but that he should become a creator in actuality, that happened through the act of creation. Just like someone becomes a groom. He's a father in potential, but until he has a child, we don't call him a tati. But he can be. It's all there. It's ready to be actualized. God is more than just a creator. He's God. He's infinite. But you're right. Until there was a creation, here is one of the most mystical parts of Torah, how in a certain way the creation, if you will, brings out qualities of God that weren't necessarily there in poil, in actual.
No one was there to appreciate it, really.
That's right. That's what we say, Ein melech b'lo am. There's no king without a people. God is the king of the world. But what kind of king would there be if there was no world? So in a certain wildly mystical way, the world makes God a king. But not only that, God can't be a king if the world is coerced into serving the king. That's just called a dictator. The creation has to willingly choose the king. Then it's a king. So God as a king is only achieved through the creation of recognizing the creator as king, benevolent and loving. That's called tenu oiz lelokim, that in a certain wild way, and this is what the Kedushas Levi was all about, Levi Yitzhak ben Sarasasha, was all about the power of Klal Yisrael, that we in a certain unbelievably wild way are giving, if you will, to Hashem. Even though He doesn't need anything, but we're able to bring Hashem's presence out into the world in a way that could never be achieved otherwise, without a creation That's amazing. That's enough to just make you want to run to the base medrash and just, set up a tent in there or something and just, spend the rest of your days over there. Just learning Torah, Yom V'Layla. We should be zayach to do that with Mashiach. Amen. Have a wonderful day. Call too.